Before playing this game, I did not know what to expect from it, but oh boy, this game has to be one of the weirdest Naruto games I ever played. This game came out on September 24th, 2009 for the PSP system. This game is a sequel to Uzumaki Chronicles 2 and is the third game in the series. I wanted to play this game for a while just to see how a non-Ultimate Ninja game would look like, and oh boy, this game did not disappoint, and not in a good way. Starting off, this game actually has loads of modes: scenario, Akatsuki mode, missions, free battles, survival, and so on. Of course, in order to access them all, you have to first finish the story mode of this game, which is the scenario mode. But before we do that, let me introduce you to the battle mechanics and the gameplay flow of this game. So, this is a 3D beat 'em up game where you are thrown in a small area with multiple enemies. You use the analog stick to move, triangle to throw shurikens, circle to ninja dash, X to jump, square to attack, L1 to lock onto your enemies, and R1 to access the jutsu wheel. After playing the Ultimate Ninja games, the controls felt so weird to me, but once you play long enough, you kinda get used to them. Each character that you play as has only one combo move. There are no variations, which basically means that you will spam the square button 80% of your gameplay here. As already mentioned, there is this jutsu wheel. Each character has 4 unique jutsus that they can use. By holding the R1 and pressing any of the buttons, your character will execute a jutsu. At the start, the jutsu count will be limited to only 2, but once you play more through the story, you are able to unlock more jutsus to use. Each time you do a mission or scenario mission, you will be thrown into these wide empty spaces that are just crawling with enemies. The enemy variety in this game is interesting to say the least. We got the regular bandits, annoying ninjas that throw shurikens all the time, birds, wait what, birds? Yeah, we got boars as well. Boars? Are we fighting a zoo or something? They are monkeys as well. Oh hell nah. And last but not least, giant centipedes that are thrown at you. Okay, hold up. What were the developers smoking when creating the enemy types? Like, what the hell is this? The annoying thing is that in the later half of the game, the enemies are so aggro that they all attack you at the same time, not allowing you to do anything, juggling you and dealing huge amounts of damage, which is annoying as hell. As well, during the scenario battles or other modes, you will also be thrown into 1v1 or 2v2 boss fights. They are nothing crazy, but most of them are annoying as hell. The bosses will jump away from you and you will spend 60% of the time jumping around trying to catch them. After defeating enemies, you are able to earn experience points. Yeah, this game has an RPG mechanic where by defeating enemies you earn experience points, which levels your character stats. The thing with that is that you level only the character you play as, and not the whole character pool, which will give you moments where one character is over leveled, but the rest of the roster is under leveled. In addition to the stat mechanics, there is also an inventory system. Basically, after defeating enemies, they will sometimes drop items like kunais or health items. These items can be bought in the shopper section in the main menu as well. Once you have an item, you are able to select the item in your inventory and move it to an active inventory, where by holding the triangle button, this small menu will appear, where on the right you have multiple types of kunais and on the left multiple health items, which you can use during the battle. I recommend you stock up on these when playing through the different modes. As well, in these crates you are able to find jutsu scrolls, which can be used to upgrade the jutsu by mixing multiple jutsus together. By mixing 2 jutsus, you are able to create a stronger jutsu that has increased stats. After completing missions, you are able to get some power-ups like attack scrolls, defensive scrolls, and so on, which can be added to your character. Continuing the RPG mechanic, each character can have a limited amount of these power-ups or jutsus equipped because there is a limit. The limit is called potential. Each jutsu or power-up which you want to add to your character costs potential. The lower your character's level, the lower the potential, which means you cannot power boost your character with doping it right off the start. Phew, that was a lot. Okay, since you now know how the basic gameplay happens, let's check out the other modes, starting with the scenario mode. The scenario mode follows the events of Naruto Shippuden, starting from the start when Naruto arrives back to the village and finishing off right at the end of the Kazekage rescue arc. When starting this mode, you are already thrown into the first scenario where Naruto returns to the village. As you can see, this game has in-game cutscenes which are fully voiced. At the start, the cutscenes looked alright, but the more you played this mode, the cutscenes became even more cursed. Let me ask you, have you ever wondered how Kakashi would look like if he was smoking some kush kush? Well, wonder no more, because this game gives us this gem. Like holy moly, the models and animations in some sections in this game are so funny and bad at the same time. Some examples could be Tenten removing a seal tag, Deidara's awesome flying animation, this weird Naruto Rasengan animation, And my favorite, the paper-looking ninjas around everyone at the end of the story. There are a lot of examples like these, but over time you kinda get used to them, that they become so bad that they are funny. The story mode follows the same principle. You see a cutscene, you run from one point of the map to the other point while trying to beat all of the enemies or just running past them. See another cutscene, then do a boss battle. That's it. If you like this type of content, be sure to like and subscribe. This will encourage me to play even more wacky Naruto games. Anyhow, in some instances the story mode shows some interesting details from the manga which I haven't seen in any other Naruto game. One example could be the way how Naruto and Sakura win the belt challenge. Usually it is represented only as a fight, but here you witness the real way how they both managed to get the belts from Kakashi, which I think is a nice attention to detail.
In the final plot of makeout tactics, it turns out the main character is actually...
What? Oh no! Because of the Sharingan, I can still read his lips!
As well, there are some interesting face expressions the characters will do during the story, which really resembles the anime vibe. In the last chapter, where Lady Chiyo is trying to save Gaara, this out-of-the-place song is playing, which kinda destroys the whole mood of the moment. Instead of playing something sad and somber, we get this.
Only Lady Chiyo knows it. She's exchanging her life for his.
After you have finished the first chapter, you are able to play the next chapter, but starting from this point on, you can select which character you want to play as. As well, you can select up to 2 side characters that can give you some small stat boosts for the mission, but at the cost of splitting the experience points between them. This is an interesting concept because this allows you to play the story with the character you like, but kinda destroys the immersion. When in a cutscene you see Naruto, Kakashi and Sakura for example, but then as soon as the cutscene ends, you take control over your chosen character, which has no role in the current situation in the story. This kinda breaks the immersion. As well, after completing each chapter, another chapter is unlocked alongside new characters to use in free battle or in the story mode. Each character you unlock is a higher level than the previous one, which introduces a new dilemma of where, when you progress the story, the enemies' levels will become higher as well. If you play with only one character, for example Naruto, and you run past all the enemies, in the end you will be under leveled pretty heavily once you get to the boss fight, which means if you don't want to waste time defeating all the pointless enemies, you can just pick the newly unlocked character, since the character is always a higher level, and beat the story with him. I started playing with Naruto and then finished the game playing only with Lee. After going through 10 scenarios and finishing the story, you will unlock the Akatsuki mode. The Akatsuki mode is essentially the same thing as the scenario mode, but only with a twist. The twist being that you can play only with Akatsuki characters and follow along a filler-like story, where the Akatsuki are trying to steal the scroll of forbidden jutsu. You are able to choose any of the Akatsuki members and play through 10 missions. The interesting thing is that each character has 10 missions, which means that there are a lot of missions if you want to finish this mode in full glory. I'll be honest, nothing much changed after you select an Akatsuki member. All the changes is that each character has some specific lines they say during the cutscene, and the opponents might sometimes change, and that's it. Example could be, if you play the second mission as Itachi, you will fight Kankuro and Temari. The same thing happens if you play Skizame, only the dialogue changes a bit. All of the gameplay mechanics are the same in this mode. Only exception is that each member can use all of his jutsus. They can use 4 jutsus in total, instead of only 2 as we had in the scenario mode. As well, there is no free roaming, it's just a collection of boss battles where you fight 1v1s or 2v1s and so on. Completing a mission unlocks the next mission for the character. Another mode to this is the mission mode, about which I was actually surprised. Surprised about mission mode? How can that be? Sounds like a lame mode. I'll be honest, the first thing that came to my mind when I saw it was the same mission mode like we had in Ultimate Ninja 1, but thankfully it's not the case. These missions in this mode aren't any fetch quests or kill X amount of enemies, no. Each mission has a story behind it and is even supported by in-game cutscenes, which are fully voiced as well. Heck, the missions in this mode are actually funny. Let's take for example the mission Bring Me Sai. In the brief, we learn that Jiraiya has requested us to bring Sai back to him, because he was being mean to Jiraiya and verbally abusing him. Like, what? After we get the mission, we run around the forest looking for Sai, and once we find him, we beat Sai in a 1v1 battle. After the battle, Jiraiya appears, and the reason why he wanted Sai is revealed.
Your pictures are impressive. Listen, kid, I want you to illustrate my next novel. You have free reign. Draw as many ladies as you can come up with, all right? Yeah.
Are you seriously asking a kid to do that?
That voice. Tsunade?
I'm gonna knock some sense into that twisted mind of yours.
There is also a special mission called Social Training Members, where you can unlock Sai as a playable character. Plot for this mission is funny as well, so now they made this 1v1 fight to strengthen the bonds between us and Sai. Only thing is that after the fight we learned this.
Oh, being a bookie is great.
You are truly an awful woman, Tsunade. Staging this whole friendly battle thing just so you can gamble.
Hey, I'm just trying to provide some entertainment for the people of my village.
There are more missions like this, and this is the first time I enjoyed the so-called mission mode in any Naruto game. This game as well has free battle mode, of which you can have 1v1 fights with a CPU or even with friends in a local co-op. The fighting is pretty much the same as the base games and nothing new can be said. You fight the best out of 3 and that's it. Only thing is that you automatically can use all the characters' jutsus. Oh, and this pose that Sai does after winning is hilarious. Survival mode is a mode in which we can select a character and then we fight through a gauntlet of multiple enemies in a row. Nothing much to say about this one as well. Each section has multiple fights and they get tougher and tougher each time. This game surprised me. After playing for 1 hour, I thought that this would be a really bad game and I would hate my time playing it, but in the end I actually liked it. The combat might feel repetitive, but I really like that you could switch things up with using jutsus mid-combo. Made me feel like a real ninja. The story mode is fine, even though being a little bit short. The visuals and the animations are really bad, but they become so bad that they become funny to me. This kinda gives the game a special charm to it. This game has a ton of modes and can keep you engaged for 20 plus hours. The mission mode is a fun mode with all the wacky and funny missions you have to do. I enjoyed my time with this game, but what about you? Have you played this game? Let me know in the comments. But yeah, I wish you all a nice day/evening. Bye guys.